going to be dealing with the inclusive transformation is Pastor Lebogang Nkadimeng, who is a member of civil society and the project manager for Omang Youth Development. Pastor Lebo has been with us in the SDG agenda for the longest of times and has been a strong advocate for an inclusive agenda as we rebuild South Africa. Pastor Lebo, I don't see you as yet on my screen, so I hope that you are here. And I would like to invite you to just share with us for 5 minutes only any reflections you have, both in terms of the things we've discussed so far about what are the building blocks, what do we need to prioritize. But I also have this question for you around, given the current context, given the current environment in South Africa, what are those things that we are supposed to be focusing on? Pastor Lebo, over to you. Colleagues from African Monitor, if someone could just indicate for me whether or not Pastor Lebo is on the line, and if she is having some technical difficulties, kindly assist her so that we can have her on the line. But while I am waiting, because I do not want to waste time, I am going to invite Sixolile Ngcobo, who is the Western Cape Provincial Manager for the Commission for Gender Equality. Siko also has been an incredible champion for inclusive development in South Africa, and particularly looking at the gender issues, the gender dynamics, and the gender angle in relation to inclusive transformative development. You will remember her from our symposium that she not only facilitated the discussions around gender inclusiveness, but also gave us a fairly thorough presentation around why was it important to have a gender lens to build inclusivity and to transform our society. Siko, I want to invite you to come in while we wait for Pastor Lebo to just share your reflections as well. You have 5 minutes to share your reflections about what should we be focusing on given the dire situation we find ourselves. Many people have reflected that the current challenges, both in terms of the impact of COVID-19, as well as some of the looting and the violence that has been happening in Gauteng and KZN, affects first and foremost women and youth. How do we begin to address things like this in the South African environment?
And thank you, Namhla, and thank you to Africa Monitor for continuously working on SDGs in South Africa, not only as Africa Monitor, but also on anchoring the South African Working Group on SDGs, which I think is a groundbreaking initiative that needs to be also very nurtured going forward. So, yeah, I think I had prepared, but the last 3 days or 4 days have actually made my preparation. I've taken it aside. I've said reality has actually surfaced itself. It's no longer about things that we have observed in the past. It's about what we are seeing currently. And what we are seeing currently is actually the face of what I will call the intersections of reality of people's lives. So, and if we were then to build better going forward from a perspective of actually saying everyone is important, everyone needs to be taken care of, everyone needs to receive a package of services that meets them at the point of their need or at the point of their need for human development. We then need to start engaging and saying, so is it women? Is it young people? Is it men? Is it trans men? Is it trans women? Who is it? For me, it is everyone that we need to center. But particularly because of the past imbalances of our country, we then need to put women and young girls in the center, including children as well. But also, when you look at the pictures of what we've been seeing in the past few days, you can see that a high number of those people that we need to put at the center of our development in South Africa becomes young people. Young people, whether they are male or female, whether they come from a rural or urban area, whether we just need to be very inclusive in our approach going forward, because it is very clear that poverty, inequality, and unemployment is actually no longer something that we read about, but it's something that really defines our actions on day-to-day basis. It's something that really defines who we are on day-to-day basis. I was actually doing an analysis of looking at what people were actually taking away. Some were just taking bare food to survive for today. And for me, that sat with me that someone will actually has lost dignity through the structures and the systems that we have set up as the state to actually slowly, instead of building the dignity of people back, what we've done is we've been slowly taking that dignity away to a point that people have lost the values of who they are. Because I don't think someone will just go and steal, but there's something that says, I have nothing to lose. And when we get to a state where the majority of people who are on the streets are actually saying, I have nothing to lose, we then have a problem, because it means the social fabric is no longer there. What we've been working on saying we're doing social cohesion is no longer there. What we've been saying, a better life for all, is actually not felt in the ground. So what has gone wrong is that we have put in place programs that almost bandage the inequality, almost bandage the poverty that exists, almost bandage the unemployment, where you get to celebrate that you are working to be paid 1,000 Rand. And we all know that 1,000 Rand will not take a family to the end of the month. So there's something about the wage that we're paying, it's called minimum wage. For me, that is not a minimum wage. It's actually just a survival wage, and we need to go back to that. Secondly, when we look at who gets paid that minimum wage, majority is women and young people who are eager to get into the workplace, who are eager to get an experience of some sort. So that is where we were also sitting. Thirdly, in conclusion for me, we need to go beyond the policies. I was actually writing down the policies that have come up, the frameworks that we have. We just need to move beyond that. We need to implement and start celebrating what we are implementing rather than celebrating what we are writing and what we are co-crafting. Because for me, it's easy to sit and type, but it is very difficult to actually implement. We saw how the police actually were unable to implement the law enforcement. And that is the tough reality that we who work in the development sector now need to start facing, that all these policies that we've put together, are they really going to lead into development? Are they really going to leave the spirit and leave no one behind in terms of the SDGs? So yes, for me, yeah, that is where I am right now. I have just spoken out of scripts. I did not use most of my notes because the issue right now is no longer about what I can write, but it's about what I can see and analyze, and from my own lived experiences, then take the way forward. Thank you, Namhla.
Thank you so much, Siko. And in fact, I love the fact that you moved away from your script and prepared notes to this, because I think for me, it brings a level of authenticity when you begin to say, we are now no longer talking about things that are in books, we are now talking about actual things that we are saying in actual lives. And the slow burn you are referring to, what do you do in a context where a people have been so stripped of a sense of who they are, dignity, livelihoods, etc., that they are at a point now where they are like, I have nothing to lose. I think as development practitioners, and what's fascinating for me, not fascinating in a curiosity sense, but what's important is that none of us now can say this is so-and-so's problem, because it has become a whole society crisis. So as a development practitioner, I can no longer finger point and say business should be doing better or so-and-so should be doing better, because we know that all of us are impacted by how do I begin to rebuild the social fabric. Pastor Lebo, I hope that you are back on this